video from my good friends at Inhala.com. Let's talk about serious business. Sleep apnea. Whether you've been diagnosed with it or afraid you have it, I've got the solution. Inhala is here to give you your life back by giving you your breath back. They make it easy to get help for sleep apnea because living without restful sleep is simply no way to live. Inhala gives you a custom-fitted oral appliance that opens your airway so you naturally breathe the way nature intended. The best part is they offer virtual consultations and in-home sleep testing. No overnight stays at a sleep center. Plus, Inhala has all the doctors that you'll need. Appointments are virtual, and it's all covered by your private medical insurance. Inhala does it all, from diagnosis to the delivery. Don't suffer from another sleepless night or daytime fatigue. Visit Inhala.com or call 844-INHALA-1. That's 844-INHALA and the number 1. Call now. 844-INHALA-1. That's 844-INHALA-1.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And joining us now to talk about what is in store and the message already the world is feeling is Rich Lowry. He is the editor of the National Review. And, Rich, you wrote a really great column about Trump's tough talk, already, sort of signaling to the world that there is definitely a new sheriff in town.
Yeah, absolutely. No one has taken us seriously the last 4 years. No one was afraid of Joe Biden. At his very best, he was totally predictable and conventional, and now you're going to get a different approach from Donald Trump. And we've already seen it with his hell to pay statement about the hostages and how necessary the release is. Now, maybe Hamas and Iran will take the chance that he's bluffing. I'm not sure I'd play that hand if I were them, but they have to think about it. And Trump is the first U.S. official or incoming U.S. official that has spoken with the appropriate righteous indignation about an ongoing crime being perpetrated against our fellow citizens, right? We haven't heard it from Biden. We haven't heard anyone from the Biden administration has taken Trump to use a real traditional American voice, like bring them home or pay the consequences.
Well, that Act Blue is going to, $1.5 billion in 15 weeks. Even some Democrats are saying, where did the money go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Did you see this, Rich, too, as we're talking about money? I don't know if you guys saw this. Kamala Harris could receive a whopping $20 million from top publishers. I mean, it's like...
Because her English is very good.
Circular, the word salads, remember? I mean, isn't that amazing?
I grew up in a middle-class family. That'll be the beginning of each chapter. We'll start with that. Start with that line. Yeah, so I don't know. If she's imagining she's going to run again in 2028, she was more delusional than I thought. But another indication of Trump throwing his weight around even before he's inaugurated is this CR is now dead and is going down. It probably was going to go down regardless, but Elon and Trump coming out against it were the final nails in the coffin.
Yeah, they already came out and said this is not good. John was just talking about Act Blue, and I feel like come, January 20th, there will be a reckoning on so many of these things. Act Blue, there were reports that it had received some foreign funds, and then it went to the Democratic Party.
If it was some foreign funds, people are not worried.
Substantial.
It's a lot of substantial.
All right, so substantial. So to John's point, starting January 20th, think about how many things could be coming out, because certainly the Democrats don't want that out. But boy, it can't come soon enough, sort of the reveal with Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and people like that. How different do you think? There's going to be some explosive things coming out, Rich.
Yeah, it could be comparable to what happened when Elon took over Twitter, where he had the Twitter files, where he's like, you know what, I'm just going to release everything that happened before that shouldn't have happened, and all the evidence in that regard, and you should have people at departments and agencies doing the same thing. So there's a lot of house cleaning to do, but it's going to begin on January 20th.
Rudy Washington, go ahead, Rudy.
The continuing resolution is dead. Johnson pulled it back?
It's dead, yeah.
So, now, okay, where does that leave us?
Well, that's a very good question. I think what he needs to do is just what they call, and this is not the way to govern, the whole thing is so shabby and disreputable, but just a clean CR. You just pass the funding to keep the government going and not have a shutdown. I agree with Ari earlier. Shutdowns, they never work. They're not any good for anyone, but don't make it a Christmas tree with all these Republican priorities, and then the Democrats want their stuff, and then you have this huge 1,500-page bill that no one's read with all these things that wouldn't pass otherwise.
Right.
Except for, this end of the year cramnibus is one.
So the next $1 million question: will the Democrats go along with a clean CR?
I don't know. I think gun to the head they would. I think no one wants a shutdown. I think usually everyone wants to go home. They want to be stuck there in Washington. The holidays obviously are coming, so I think that could happen. But this first bill going down, though, is potentially very consequential. We could have a new speaker in January because he has very little margin for error. And if you have just 5-10 Republicans saying I'm not voting for him on the floor, that's going to be it for Mike Johnson. So
now, what does that say though?
Couple weeks.
What does that say for the Republican Party if that happens again? And the other issue, Ari, is they're talking about DOGE left and right, the Department of Government Efficiency,
yeah.
And so to sit there and say, okay, well, here's a bill with a lot of pork projects, and you look like a bunch of hypocrites.
Yeah, exactly. This bill can fund the Department of Government Inefficiency, right?
Right.
Yeah, it runs counter to that whole effort, and there's been a lot of energy around it. Now, I wish them luck. I think it's going to be tough to make government more efficient, but I'm sure they'll at least come up with some good and worthy ideas. But people want that. They're excited about that. They do not want the usual way of doing things, certainly when it's not this, right? This is Congress not doing its job. You pass the appropriation bills in good order so we don't have these constant dances on the precipice of fiscal disaster or shutdowns. Just pass them in good order so everyone can read them, and you do it the way the system's supposed to work. But Congress hasn't done that in a very long time.
Yeah. What was the famous line that Nancy Pelosi said? We got to pass it to read what's in it. Remember that?
Exactly. Well, I mean, the thing is, no one's even going to read it after they pass it.
That's true. Rich, thank you very much. And if we don't talk to you, have a great Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Happy New Year, guys.
Eden Memorial Chapels understands Jewish funerals can take many forms. Some are Orthodox, while others are more conservative or of a Reformed nature. There's no one better. With services close to all New York and New Jersey cemeteries, Eden Memorial Chapels offer fair and balanced pricing and can provide easy transfer of you and your loved ones to Israel. While you're grieving, they're here to take care of all the details so that you deal with less bureaucracy and have more peace of mind. Go to EdenMemorial.com. That's EdenMemorial.com.